Hello and welcome to Content Marketing Insider powered by Repurpose.io. I am the host with the most, Roy Garcia. Thank you for joining us today. And on this episode, we are going to be talking about how to create a polymathic strategy and automation for your content. There are two things that I love about this topic. One is strategy, and the second one is automation. Two things that are very important so that you can save time, effort, and make sure that things are effective. Our guest for this episode is a multidisciplinary content creator with a passion for innovating new ways to solve problems using unique tools and ideas. Please help me welcome Dustin Miller, Innovator. Welcome to Content Marketing Insider, Dustin.
Thank you for having me, Roy.
Such a pleasure to have you here. It's a very unique name, a very unique term, Innovator, Polymathic, something I haven't really heard of. And his name is Dustin Miller and his brand name is Innovator. I'm sure he's going to talk about this when I ask him. Dustin, tell us not just about your name, but what do you do?
So the way you might want to think about it is about entrepreneurs, right? We have a lot of entrepreneurs in the audience. You have to wear a lot of hats in order to be an entrepreneur. You have to be kind of a jack of all trades. Well, a polymath is someone like that, but farther along. So jack of all trades is more, novice or middle level. A polymath is more expert in multiple different areas. Now, I'm certainly not going to call myself a polymath, but I'm polymathic. I like doing many different things very well. Now, content's something I've been fascinated about since I was young. Been blogging for 10 years, podcasting for 5, video for 5. And in that journey, I realized that I needed to do more. Now, definitely Gary Vee influenced my journey there. Like, you need to be creating 100 pieces of content a day. Well, how do you do that? Well, you need tools like Repurpose to help you have that like automation aspect behind it, but you also need to have a strategy. How do you do it? Why do you do it at certain times? Why do you repurpose in certain ways too?
Well, excited to pick your brain and hope you don't mind. We've got 3 things that we can talk about, 3 points rather, about creating a polymathic strategy and automation for your content. I'm sure a lot of our listeners today, a lot of our viewers today, they're going to be learning a lot from this, and I hope that they take action after this. First point, thinking multi-content from the get-go. I love that part. So can you tell us more about that?
Yeah. So with Innovator being my personal brand, I started creating content with a blog. And then I eventually moved on to podcasting. You had to learn those skills first. It took me forever to get used to being on camera and feeling comfortable and being able to talk. And so video creation came a little bit farther along. That was my trajectory. And now my main series, the Poly and Content series that I made, literally just poly, meaning much or many, in content, that multidisciplinary content. I make a blog post, a video, and a podcast every single episode I make in that series. And because of that strategy, I'm able to be multi-format and appeal to multiple different kind of learning styles. People like to watch, people like to listen, and some people like to read. Now, you could always transcribe the video if you want to do it that way. It depends on which kind of pillar content you like to do first. Some people are really better at videos. Do that as your main one.
It's great when you mentioned something, I like that term, pillar content. For your case, it's blogging. For others, maybe it's video. How can one say, okay, this is my main source. This is my pillar content?
It comes down to what you feel is most natural for you. Like I said, I'm more of a writer. I like writing down my ideas before I can talk about it. Like when it comes to videos like this, I love doing podcasts, but I need that prompt from somebody. Those blogs are my prompt for the videos. So when I make the videos, I base it off of the bullets of that, like maybe the titles of each paragraph or stuff like that, and the blog post. Some people I've met actually love podcasting. They don't want to be on camera, but they love to talk and they don't want to write it. And so they do the podcasting as their pillar. So it's whatever feels most natural to you. And I definitely encourage you to do all 3 to some degree so you can get enough experience in all 3.
I did start doing like blogging before. And then when social media came in, that's when we started having all these hosts and all of that. It's more than just blogging. Is it a new thing or has it been something done for many years?
I would say yes and no. It's a new thing for a lot of smaller creators, a lot of, I guess you could say, nano influencers and that kind of thing. I don't think they realize the capacity of what they can do. They have that ability to make multiple content like that pretty easily with tools like Repurpose. And I know Hanny talked about Designer, which is about take your blog post, make it into a book too. And it's interesting to think about how Gary Vee, Mr. Beast, and all these other big creators, especially Gary Vee, he's a prime example, obviously, but even Doc Williams too, who's been on the show. They talk about making a video, transcribing it, cutting it into audio. That strategy I might have formulated on my own as well, but I also learned from Gary Vee.
And it's great. I mean, we're learning from all these people who've come before us, but sometimes it can get pretty overwhelming. I know what I'm talking about when we talk about information overload or tools overload or strategy overload. It can get really overwhelming to the point of analysis paralysis. What would be the advice you would tell me so that I won't get overwhelmed?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta start with just one. Whatever feels like the easiest thing for you to do at first. If you can make podcasts really easily or blog posts really easily, and I say easily, the first 10 are gonna be kind of hard. You're gonna have to push yourself a little bit. Roberto Blake has a really great philosophy where he says, make 100 pieces of content. Doesn't matter if they're good, just make that quantity. Because over the time of you doing it, you're gonna get more and more experience. I personally think that 100 pieces doesn't necessarily have to be, and I say pillar pieces, not micro content. 100 pillar pieces. Personally, I think you could do 30% podcast, 30% blog, 30% videos. Usually Roberto Blake or Sean Cannell, great thought leaders in that space, they talk about doing 100 pieces of just one pillar type.
So, is there like a format or a framework that we can teach our listeners right now in order for them to get started with either a blog post or audio or video?
So you want to induce emotion or teach somebody something new. Those are the two main things. Emotions and education that you want to try to induce for the person you're helping. You're teaching them something or you're making them feel something. And a great way of doing that is by focusing on three main points. And I stole this from Science Next, Start With Why's TED Talk back in the day, where you have the why, how, and what. And actually, kind of secretly, but not so secretly, I structure most of my blog posts in that format. My swimming blog post, which is a sub-series I do, I literally have that in each blog post that I do is like why, how, and what. So, for example, I go back to swimming. Swimming, since I've been done for a long time, it's one of my main series that I do. And I think about the why as the philosophy. So, why do we do this particular stroke in this way? And so that section's talking about the why. Then you have the how, which is the physics. Physically, how do you do that swimming stroke? Like, how do you move your arms? How do you move your legs? And then you have the what. And so, like, what is that swimming stroke? What is what is swimming, even in that case? And you can kind of break it down in that way. Why gets their attention, how teaches them what to do, and the what gives them context.
When people are thinking about it, it takes a while for you to kind of absorb that because I'm sure there's a lot of gears going on in your brain. But again, guys, those who are listening and watching right now, it's the why, the how, and then the what. I'm sure there are other frameworks out there and you can Google that, but you can take this framework and apply it to fill in the blanks, your niche or yourness. And hopefully that will start something, whether it's a podcast, a video, an audio, or even a blog post. So let's say you have your pillar content. What would be the different kinds of content that you can extract from the pillar content? What would you recommend?
Well, here's where things get interesting and where repurpose comes in as well. Let's say you start off with a video, right? You have the video like you're making right now, we're talking, then you can cut out the audio, make a podcast, which I'm pretty sure repurpose can do on its own too. You can take the MP4, make it MP3. And there's even some podcast hosts that are directly connected to repurpose that you can just directly send it to them. And then on top of that, you can just transcribe the interview and make that into a blog post. Usually you want to try to reformat it into an actual blog post, maybe add some headings. Although you could use things like AI and ChatGPT to format it for you as well and summarize it, as it turns out. Boom. All three pillar pieces right there. Your video, you can then chop up into different clips, use repurpose for that, or use some other tool through repurpose, whatever you want to do. You have different clips from there. Let's say you have a 30-minute video, you could probably get at least 15 clips from that, especially interviews. And then on top of that, you have audiograms. So let's say the video didn't really quite work out for you when it comes to that kind of clip. You can take that clip, turn it into a waveform, and that's even better. You have another option that way. Blog posts is where things get even more interesting. You can chop it up into a tweet thread. So you Twitter thread there, so you can have multiple tweets in a row. You can make quote images from each little part of that blog post. In fact, in my Polymath content series, I have little sections there where I try to preemptively create a quote that I could use to make tweets down the line. And so you can kind of plan it out ahead of time. That's just a few examples.
And that's actually great examples. Honestly, we've got video clips, you've got audiograms, you've got blog posts, even the podcast itself, and Twitter
Mhm.
threads, and even Instagram carousels. Things that we actually do here at repurpose.io when we
Yeah.
create content. And I know it can be overwhelming because there's just a lot, but I think we need to focus first with your pillar content. That's what Dustin is saying about thinking multi content from the get go, that you're already creating one piece of content with the thought of, hey, how can this be different kinds of content? What would be the benefit of having multi content extracted from one piece of content?
So we're talking about an episode, right? Each episode is in this series about that one niche, for example. And so people are going to find you for that one topic. So every piece that you're making, video, blog post, podcast, and then all the micro content underneath it, those are all different points of entry for you. So everyone that finds, let's say, your little clip or finds a little tweet, they're gonna be like, I like that topic. Let's find that person. Then they can find your blog and they find that blog directly too sometimes. They find you, and that's how you grow. And that's the whole point why we make content in the first place is to help people and to help us grow.
And that's a great thing. You're not reinventing the wheel anymore. You're just creating one piece of
Mhm.
content and then breaking into different ways for other people to consume. And then the point here is like what Dustin mentioned, is so that all these mini content, as we call it, whatever kind of term
Micro,
you
whatever.
micro
Yeah.
content, whatever term you call it, it all points to you. All points to your blog
Mhm.
posts. It all points to your business and your service and your products. And I think that's a great way to bring some attention and shed some light to whatever you are offering to your potential niche or potential market. So that's number one, thinking multi content from the get go. That's a lot
Mhm.
of juicy information. Yeah, you want to say something more?
And I got one more. Yes, I got one more to add to that. This is something that I've been toying with. I think it'd be cool for the audience. Is the idea of social blogs. And what I mean by that is kind of like a little micro blog version. And so I don't quite like Medium personally as a platform, but it is a great platform for people to grow. There's also LinkedIn articles or even other sites. I know Facebook had their own blogging thing way back in the day too. I'm sure there's other ones out there. Basically, you make a micro version of your blog post and you make a link at the bottom to your main one. So you kind of hook people into it. You give them the first kind of idea, like, hey, if you want to learn more, read the full post over here. And it's kind of one of those things where it's not like a Facebook post. It's not that small. It's bigger. It's a bigger medium piece, but it's a unique way of doing things. I think people can take advantage of that.
This is the first time I've heard about that. So I think that's great. Like it's like if you have like a blog post, you just get one of those like H1 and then the content. And then if you want more, it's like TikTok or short clips for
Mhm.
words. So I think that's a great idea. Number two, finding the right tool for you. I mean, there's got to be a lot of tools out there. So shed some light on this, Mr.
Yes.
Dustin.
How do you find the right tool? Well, first off, you got to find the right problem. So I actually remember coming across repurpose.io the first time. And what I do is I like to go on these swath dives, these deep dives of information about a topic. So I went on Google, Bing, and Yahoo, searched content repurposing. I opened up the search, the images, the videos, and the news tabs for each one of them. And I just went through everything. I just tried to find as much information or images or links that I could find. And that's how I found Repurpose the first time. This is back maybe 2019, 2018, so really early on. And I found a single image halfway down the Google search because back then there wasn't as much SEO for Repurpose as you definitely have now. And I found the tool and I was like, what is this? And so I reached into it. I was nerding out about it. I immediately started talking to Hanny Mora, the founder, obviously, too, about it on there, nerded out with him. So you just kind of search for what you need. If it's content repurposing, is it content creation? Maybe it's AI summarization. Something that you need, search for it, find a way to find a tool, or ask me if you want.
I think there are a lot of questions to ask when it comes to finding the right tool. What are the questions we can ask when finding the right tool for the certain problem that you have?
Well, I think the actual question should be what is the problem? How do you find what that problem is? I need to transcribe all my interviews, for example. That's my problem. And so I ended up finding different tools for that. And actually, one thing I want to mention is that I'm working on a directory of content repurposing and in general, just tools in general, but specifically content repurposing in this case of tools. It's called Poly Tools. And I have a demo version of it out now, but I'm working on a better version. And I think that's going to help a lot of people. So if let's say your transcription is your problem, you click transcription, boom. Not to mean a little shameless plug there, but it'll be helpful.
What do you think would be some of the things that would stop people from using certain tools?
Yeah, I think partially is pricing. I know a lot of tools have great free plans. Pricing is one of the big ones. A lot of everything comes out of pocket for me, for example. I'm a smaller creator. I don't make as much income from my content. I know that if I want to, I have to keep doing it and eventually it'll grow, diversify your revenue, that kind of thing. But for the most part, it is hard to do the pricing part of it. Also understanding different tools. Some tools have a learning curve, so you have to go watch videos and reviews about it, learn how to do it. I will say like Repurpose has a lot of features, for example, right? How to use each feature in Repurpose? Well, luckily there's a lot of docs and videos helping you to learn that, but you have to figure out which feature do I need, which feature do I want. Same with other tools as well, figuring out which ones do I need clips, do I need videograms, which are two separate things, mind you, too. It's two separate tools for the most part. Do I need Twitter threads? There's Twitter thread tools out there. How do you know you need that versus just making Twitter tweets in a row on the actual website? It's simplifying the task of what you need to do. Do I need to make clips? Well, then how do I make clips the most efficient way? That kind of thing.
I guess one more question I wanted to ask before we go to the third point is there one tool that can do all the things that we're talking about? What's your opinion about that for someone who just wants one tool?
Well, I think that having a tool stack is very effective. And when it comes to one size fits all, obviously Repurpose comes to mind because it literally is the more polymathic tool out there. In my review of Repurpose, I actually mentioned that it's like the polymathic tool. It's the octopus tool that has its hands in all the different cookie jars. There might be a tool that can do some things better, but not none of the tools are going to be able to do all the things. And whether or not you use a different one or you use Repurpose, you can always use Repurpose to schedule things out too. I think that's super helpful to mention. I like to see Repurpose as like a central node, right? Yes, you can use it for multiple different features. Let's say you want to use it for clips or repurposing to like the podcast. Sure. You could use other tools for those too, but use Repurpose as that node. So even if you use other ones adjacently, it's using Repurpose through it and simplifying your workflow. Because if you overcomplicate things, it's going to make it hard for you, right? Repurpose will help you simplify it.
Well, Dustin has been talking about repurpose.io, and we want to tell everyone that repurpose.io does have a free 14-day trial. Dustin has been talking about this and how it can simplify things and send your content to different social media. You don't have to take his word for it. You don't have to take my word for it. Go ahead and try it out. So go to the link in the description below and sign up for a free trial of repurpose.io and see how things can get much, much easier for you when you start generating your content from your pillar content. So again, link is in the description below. I'm Roy Garcia, and we'll see you again next time.